Poke Nation is back. Heath, Schroyer, Jim Gazzolo, lots of things to talk about. Will Wade is our guest. 6 guys coming in now. 4 are coming back. You got 3 openings. Yep. Things are happening in basketball. Recruits are all over the place in football. Baseball's winning. Softball's winning. What about you? What have you done?
Nothing. Really, my days are just empty. I just, hang out at the pool. No.
Hang out at the pool.
Really, obviously very, very busy.
Exciting times.
It's exciting times, and I love where we're at, obviously in basketball. And I just love the fact that we have a coach now that is recruiting to the potential that this place is.
Got you.
And, and I think that he has enough credibility from obviously all the other places he's been, Chattanooga, VCU, LSU. So when he talks to recruits, like why he came here, and then he shows the facilities, and hopefully we get into that the next segment. But like, it's really neat for me to look back and see someone that not only can see it, but also can communicate it and sell the vision that I had for this place a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it's an interesting time because you got some kids that want to come back. You got kids that are coming in. But there is a buzz about McNeese that hasn't been there for a long time.
No doubt.
If ever before at this level. All right, I want to start you on some things that are NCAA related.
Okay.
First of all, some news this week about football and the new timing system, which will shorten games. Everybody's talking about shortening games. That kind of changes what you guys do during games as far as entertainment goes and that. But are you for that overall?
I'm all for, I mean, look, I'm a traditionalist at heart, but I also believe that we live in a different time. And I think that, it's about entertainment. And I think that, I think the changes they made with baseball has made baseball better. And I think it's going to do the same with football.
I know you guys are trying to do stuff at NIL here to get kind of competitive with everybody else. The NCAA has talked about taking more control of NIL. That's passed, hasn't it? This is an open book now, isn't it?
Well, obviously, I've said on this show that for the last 6 months that we're actively researching and doing our due diligence on it. Once April 1st or after that, the NCAA came down to about what you can do and not do. Obviously, you can't run it through your foundation and those things. But we're very close to getting really where we need to be. And look, if we're going to be competitive and we want to move to the next level and be dominant in our league, we have to think outside the box. I've said that all along that, to be great, we have to think outside the box. And I think embracing NIL is part of that because, look, you've said it before, it's not going to go away.
No.
I mean, it's not going to go away. It's where we're at. And I say it all the time. We have to adapt or you die, and we're really close. And I'm excited about where we're at in the process.
But I don't want people to get confused. You're not going to become the next LSU down the road.
No.
But you want to be competitive in your level.
Absolutely.
So that's not a reason why you lose players.
100%. And look, let's just take football for example. Okay, everyone talks about we want to get back to the glory days of where we want to go. Okay, well I'll say this: like in the 80s and 90s, the clubs that we had were other people didn't have those, the Montana States and all that, right? Well, we stayed with that same model, and everyone else has progressed,
reinvented themselves.
Yeah, and their fundraising has been centralized, which makes it better and it's easier, and obviously they've raised more money, like the Montana States, the Montanas, and North Dakotas, where in the 90s and 2000s our model was better. Well, now theirs is. They're all in the NIL game. So we can't sit here and say, hey, we want to compete for a national championship in football. Hey, we want to get back to the quote-unquote glory days and still think that we're going to operate the way we operated in the 90s and 2000s. It's not that way, and NIL is obviously part of it.
Oh, it's a big part of it. But also because you have the facilities now to compete on your level. There's no question about that. You're just a couple of pieces away from being complete. So when kids come in here, they're like a little wowed by what they see compared to what they've seen throughout the Southland and other schools this size.
Perfect example is like when Will Wade got here, and I just talked about it, and he's able, you look at the kids he's been able to recruit, they're pretty high-end kids. Well, when they come in here, and I've met with them all, they all have said, this place is unbelievable. Like, I mean, it's not quite as big as potentially the last place, but I've never thought this thing was this nice. Well, this program needed a shot of adrenaline and someone with the cred, if you will, to be able to bring kids in and for them to see it for themselves. And that's what's happened. And we're excited to talk about that in the next segment with Coach.
Yeah, well, to get the school exposed,
100%.
to get it some exposure,
Yep.
so that people have forgotten about the Hurricanes, have forgotten about all those things, but now see the potential of the place and what the place actually is.
Well, if you're a kid, okay, and Will Wade calls you and says, listen, I was at LSU, and it's not as big, but our facilities and amenities are nicer than LSU. They're the same as VCU. You're going to take that a little bit more to heart than someone else that's not Will Wade saying that. And that has been a huge reason why our recruiting class is the way it is.
And Will Wade will tell us about the recruiting class when we come back on Polk Nation.
Welcome back to Polk Nation. Coach Wade, welcome back, my friend.
Good to be here.
I hope this guy beside you on your right, is a little bit better than the last time, but, we'll see.
Listening to you guys talk, it's like a coffee clutch here. Can we just move on here? It's like old home week. I do this, I do that. Oh, what about this guy? What about this guy? Where's this guy here? This guy here?
We're talking
This guy over
shop,
here.
Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Talking shop.
Yes.
You gotta know what's going on. You gotta stay abreast of the latest happenings in college basketball,
right.
college
It's
athletics.
a great place to be right here.
It is great.
This is
So,
it's
Coach,
what's happening.
all right,
Yes.
let's get into this because he'll just banter all day. How was the first 6 weeks or so since you've been hired? Obviously, you've been very, very busy. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to see that, our roster is really shaping up. But talk about your experience here so far. Talk about what you've been up to and kind of just give an update on where the program is now.
Well, it's been great. We hadn't lost yet, so everybody's still real excited. And Jim's 23 plus 1 wins.
23 plus 1 wins.
I mean, we're building a roster that can win 23 plus 1, games. But it's been awesome. One thing that's when we get these kids on the visits, we've had the official visits, and I mean, Lake Charles is just incredible. The kids love it. They fall in love with the area. The people, or everywhere we go, somebody comes up and talks to us, and it makes the families feel like they're they're at home and they feel very comfortable, sending their kids to us. So that's been exciting. The roster building in terms of getting the recruits. I've really enjoyed getting to know. We've had Burzace and DT and Westfields and Trey English. They're coming back and they've been around. So I've gotten to spend a bunch of time with them, kind of take them to eat, get to know them, and so that part's been fun too. Because you never want to lose sight of. Certainly, we need to recruit other guys, but we have some good players. I mean, English was a double-digit scorer in the league, and DT played really well at the end of the year. Burzace has done some good things, and Fields was somebody who didn't get in as much, but has some potential. So you want to build those relationships with those guys because they don't really know you. So it's been fun. Not only building relationships with some of the new guys, but some of the guys who have been here as well.
So talk about your visit because I think this would be really interesting from for our community and Polk Nation to really understand. Talk about the facility and talk about your visits and what obviously you're putting together an unbelievable class. And what do the kids say when they walk in this building? I
mean, it sells itself. You've seen how the itineraries are. I mean, it's very very militant. I mean, we're on our times, but the kids love it. I mean, we spend a lot of time here in the Legacy Center, going through the Legacy Center. The highlight of the visits when they meet with you. That's what they all say.
Come on.
But we have
we already got the job. Come on.
We have a good time here in the Legacy Center, and we spend a lot of time in here, going in the practice facility, touring the arena. We do our film session here, which that takes up a majority of it. I get in there and we do film for hour and a half sometimes.
So what do you do? Like, talk about that, though.
Well, we'll go
through.
So I'll go through a timeline and a plan from the day they get to McNeese until the day they leave McNeese. And here's what they're going to expect. And then we'll break down their video. We'll show them how they fit on what we do. We'll show them certain plays that we would run for them. We'll show them how they fit in schematically, both offensively and defensively. We show them all their analytics. I go through a player breakdown with them. I mean, it takes a long time. Then a lot of times they'll ask questions. We end up on the board, and I end up diagramming stuff, and they ask a bunch of things. And so it's pretty comprehensive where they understand, hey, this is where we are. This is what this is what coach expects. And here's how we're going to bridge the gap from where we are to what coach expects to get to where we want to be. And so it takes a while when we go through that, but it's usually a highlight of the visit. And my staff does a great job compiling all the information. I watch a bunch of the film and break down the film and do that sort of thing. But some of the analytics and all that they supply. And so there's just a lot of interesting stuff, like the kid Shahada Wells, who signed with us earlier this week from TCU. Everybody's going to look at he's averaged 17 and 4 at UTA, averaged 6 a game on a really good TCU team. But what drew me to him is, first off, he's 6 foot. He's got his wingspan's ridiculous. He led the country in steals per minute without fouling.
Wow.
So like when you look at what we're trying to do in press, you've got him and Saunders at the front of a press. I mean, good luck getting past us. And he can steal the ball without fouling, which is huge. So you go through little minute stuff like that, and I think that gets the kids' attention and shows like, hey, we're going to press, we're going to accentuate what you do really well.
That's awesome.
One thing that people have asked me is, when do you want to finalize your roster? Do you want everybody here by summer? Is there a set time?
No, I don't think that's realistic in today's world. So our roster has to be finalized by the day class starts in August, and we'll be at 13 scholarships by the day class starts in August. We could be over a little bit in the summer and have to trim. We could be under a little bit and have to add. But by the day class starts in August, we'll be at 13 scholarships.
So at this point, you're at 10, correct?
Around there.
Around there. So you have roughly 3 left.
3 or 4.
3 or 4, okay. And we could talk about a lot of different things, but I want to get into the 6 guys you've brought in outside when we come back on Polk Nation after this with Will Wade. We're back with Will Wade, who is building his roster. It's not a complete teardown because there's a lot of programs where a new coach comes in and it's a completely new roster. So you do have some pieces coming back, but I want to talk about the 6 you've already signed. Most notably, 5 of them appear to be guards stemming from 6 feet to 6'6". To me, it looks like you're putting together a group of guys who can play multiple different ways. Is that what you like to see, especially a 6'6" guard that can go inside, outside, but the wingspan to press? Is that type of what you're looking at?
Yeah, you're looking for versatility. So, defensively, we like to switch, certainly 1 through 4 and sometimes 1 through 5. And so you want guys, that are switchables, guys that can guard in the post if they get switched on the post, guys that'll battle down there, and then bigger guys who can guard on the perimeter. They get switched on the perimeter. So you're looking for guys who have some versatility. And, look, in our league, you can move guys that are 6'5", 6'6", down to the 4 and play real small ball and be effective. You can be very difficult to guard, and if you're switching, you can still be effective defensively. You're gonna have a little bit of issue probably rebounding, but we'll have to figure that out, and you can make up the rebounding if you can get some steals. So we wanted some long, athletic, versatile pieces, and I think we've done a good job, with that so far.
With the 3 spots or 4 spots you got left, what are you looking to finalize? Is there anything particular?
Certainly,
obviously, everybody wants to go big.
Yeah, certainly, getting Christian back has been huge.
Christian Shoemate.
Christian Shoemate back. Getting him back is huge. I mean, he's a known commodity in this league. He'll probably be preseason conference player of the year if you'll vote for him. But
he won't.
But he won't.
I don't even know if he's allowed.
If we can get your vote,
Nobody asked me to
if
vote.
we can get your vote, it'll be
They don't give me a
preseason.
vote card for the government. I don't get the vote. They don't trust me.
But getting him back certainly helps our front line. We certainly need another big body. When I say big body, it's not like we can roll out there with a 7-footer because I'm not sure how many games he can play in. But we need a 6'8" body with some girth and some physicality. Some physicality to him. So we're still working on that. I'd like another kind of what you were talking about, 6'4" to 6'6" guy who can play like the 2 through the 4.
Yeah.
And then certainly, if you can get another guy who can add some shooting. You don't ever want to be too light on shooting. You can never have enough shooting. And so if we could add, you look at 3 or 4 spots, get a little bit of shooting, another versatile piece that can kind of move around between the 2 and the 4, and another big body, I think we'd have completed the roster about as well as you could. I mean, it's one thing to get talent, but you want to have a well-rounded roster. And so I think we would have fit the pieces together about as well as we can.
Well, Coach, let's talk about this. So let's fast forward to the guys that you bring in here in the summer. What does their summer look like? I mean, I know that a lot of the fans and out there want to know, like, what do you do? Like, they show up what day? What does their day look like? Lifting, running,
So
all
we
that
start.
stuff.
Yeah, it's a full day.
Right.
So we'll start June 5th. We'll come in and we'll do what we call taking our morning vitamins. So it's a little bit of individual development work. In the mornings, they'll go from there straight into lifting. Then we'll have breakfast, and then they'll go from there into their class obligations. And then we'll come back in the afternoon and do some workouts. And then we'll come back at night and we'll have a team dinner, and then we'll do some shooting at night. So it's a full day. It's a busy day. That's our typical day. In the middle there, they'll get some recovery and be in the training room and do some ice baths and salt baths and Normatex and all that sort of thing. But it's a pretty comprehensive day. On Fridays, we do team building. So on Fridays, we'll do a team competition in the morning somewhere out in town or somewhere around campus, not just in our weight room. So we'll do that on Friday mornings. On Tuesdays, we call it Team Tuesdays. So we have team meetings on Tuesday nights. And so I teach something on one week, then the next week we'll go out and do like a team, we'll go play paintball or something. Then the next week I teach something, the next week we'll do an activity. So we try to do that throughout the course of the summer over the 8 weeks. To build some camaraderie, some teamship with the guys. So that's some of the off the court things on Tuesday and Fridays that we do. But then we're getting after it. We're getting after it on the court. You got to give them 2 days off, so we typically give them the weekends off. Although most of them are in here voluntarily on the weekends because if you're not, you're just not going to keep those gains that you made. And it's really important. I mean, we got some guys. When you get guys at this level, as you know, Coach. You got to put some weight on them a lot of the time. So if you're not eating right and you're not doing this over the weekend, then they can lose some of their gains from the week. So, we're big on the monitoring systems with all of that.
I think that's one of the things that I was really so impressed with your first team meeting was, you talked about, everyone thinks you have pixie dust, right? And you just win. And the dust is the work.
Yeah.
And I thought that really resonated with me. I think it resonated with the guys that decided to return. And I think it resonated with some of the guys that decided not to return, if you want to know the truth about the standard in which you do things. And talk about that, because you made a great point that everyone does those things in the summer, but what makes it better? What makes yours better?
Right. Well, the magic's in the dirt. I mean, you got to get your hands dirty and get it out of the dirt, get it out of the mud, as the kids say. But everybody lifts, everybody watches film. It's the standard to which you do it. It's not, it's like I tell our guys, we don't touch the lines. We're a foot over the lines when we run. Because everybody else is touching the lines, we got to be a foot over the line. So it's the standard to which you do it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Yeah. And so that, what we do is, it's good, but I don't think it's that much different than what other people, but it's how we do it, the standard that we hold you to do it, and that's what makes it successful.
One last question for you before we let you go is, have you gotten your dinner, your $60,000 dinner?
Not yet. We're still planning that. I mean, it's a big dinner. We got.
Is he really allowed to go?
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
I mean, if you were a little bit nicer to us, we may invite you.
No. Don't ever. No.
I don't get invited to things like that. I don't get to be socialized with.
We'd have to get you a new blazer to come to that.
Oh,
that can't
thank
happen.
you, Coach.
That
Thank
can't
you.
happen.
Thank you.
We need to take up like some people on the show to see if we can get you a new blazer.
That would be so.
Can we
great.
get like a wardrobe sponsor for a new blazer?
Wow, two of a kind. We'll get Coach's final words when we come back on Pope Nation. We're back. Well, Wade, you guys sound like the same guy. Actually, sound
We
like
have
the
great
same
chemistry. That's for sure. That's for sure.
guy. Be out of a job here pretty
Hey,
soon.
you know what that's great though is I do think we should take up a collection for the jacket. I love that idea that Coach talked about. I think it's great. I mean, because this one's starting to get holes in it and stuff. Like, I know we have one jacket, but and I know that I'll talk to Coach and we'll both donate to it first.
Moving on. I don't even know where to go with that. Getting some credibility to your programs is a huge step for you guys. But for now, are you in a place where you have to win? And what is winning now? Is 8-3 in football winning? Is 7-4 winning? Or is it progression?
I think that every sport is in a different place. I've said it all along, and I'll say it on here, where you had a football program that was completely gutted. 4 head coaches in 5 years, APR probation. I mean, it was in a really, it was in a worse situation than anyone ever knew. So I needed someone to come in that has been through that before to truly gut the program, really fix the academics, get us on good standing, and build it. Like truly build it in, because football takes a long time, and I wanted someone that was able to do that and have a style of play that fit. Gary Goff is the perfect hire for that. Basketball, we just went off 2 of the worst seasons in the history of the program. We lost 45 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
This program needed someone with instant credibility and someone that could shoot a shot of adrenaline in this program, and that was Will Wade. So I think that every program is always on a different timetable, but understand this, we're here to win. I didn't hire Will Wade to win 3-4 years from now. I want to win a championship, and it's been proven. And in football and in basketball, you can flip this thing pretty quick. I truly believe, and look, and Gary knows my expectations for football. Like, we need to be competing for a championship. And I think that, this year, I think we're going to be drastically better. And then I think the years after that, I think we're going to be absolutely dominant.
Are you surprised in a way that you've been able to raise the funds in this town in this short period of time coming off of all that happened in 2020?
To an extent, yes, but I also, I've known this community intimately for going on 5 years now. They care about McNeese athletics. They really, they care. This is the lifeblood, the backbone, the soul of Southwest Louisiana is our athletic department, and so goes McNeese athletics, so goes university, so goes this community. I say it everywhere I go when I talk to them, and it is true. In a town this size with one university, we have to be good. We have to win, especially in a 2 revenue sports. We have to be good. That in turn elevates the university, which in turn elevates the entire community in entire Southwest Louisiana.
For this summer, are you going to bring back the tours? Are you going to do tours?
Yes, we are. We're probably only going to do 3 this year. But yes, we are, and obviously I think with ticket sales right now, ticket sales renewals started on Monday. They're really doing great. Obviously, there's a huge buzz with Will Wade, and I want to get him and Coach Goff in this community as much as we can. And the great thing about those two too is that they get along really well. I took both of them to breakfast the first week Will got here, and they're both very similar. Obviously different personalities, but both extremely effective, and they get along great, and they understand that both of them need to win, and both of them are very, very important, and equally important, because we have to get those 2 to go.
Feed all these people, you don't feed me. It's incredible, folks. It really is incredible. I don't even get a cracker. So
Whatever. Okay.
real quick, baseball has won 3 straight
Yeah.
series. Softball can basically wrap up the conference before this even airs on Wednesday night. Looking forward to the tournaments?
I am, for sure. I think that, obviously, I think baseball, knock on wood, is doing what baseball does and starting to play better towards the end of the year. I love Coach Hill and the culture that he's developed, and obviously Coach Landreneau is continuing to be dominant.
Don't forget to watch Sound Off 60 on Tuesdays and Thursdays on CBS Lake Charles. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on Polk Nation.